The cat and mouse game is a game for children where you ask for 2 volunteers to play the cat and the mouse. But it used to be an old pagan ritual used mainly to interact with evil spirits. While it was mainly used as a scare tactic to play with otherworldly demons and devils, there is still a very existent chance of death to those who play the cat and mouse game. There is an even higher chance of permanent mental scarring. It is highly recommended that you do not play the cat and mouse game. However, for those few thrill seekers searching for a rush, or for those delving into obscure occult rituals, these are simple instructions on how to play. Do so at your own risk. Instructions. Prerequisites. It must begin exactly at 1 a.m. when you begin performing the ritual. Otherwise, it will not work. Materials. You will need a candle, 2 pieces of paper, a writing implement, matches or a lighter, at least 1 drop of you and your partner's own blood, and at least enough volunteers to form a circle. They will need their own of the aforementioned materials, and they will have to perform the steps below accordingly. Step 1. Draw a cat on 1 piece of paper and a mouse on the other. It doesn't have to be perfect, you just need to get it done and over with. Step 2. Write you and your partner's full names, first, middle, and last, on the pieces of paper. Place your name on the piece of paper under the drawing of either a cat or mouse, and your partner will do the same with the other. Put at least 1 drop of blood on the papers. Allow it to soak into the papers. Step 3. Turn off all of the lights in the place you are doing this. Now, take out the candle and light it. Place it next to the blue blood-soaked papers, where it can be in the middle. Step 4. Have your friends form the circle. The hour must be 1 a.m. upon doing so. Then, blow out the candles, and if you are the mouse, you must enter the circle. But if you are the cat, you must stay out of the circle at all times. Your friends have to hold hands, and they begin repeating these words over 30 times above a whisper. Cat, chase, mouse. Cat, chase, mouse. Cat, chase, mouse. Cat, chase, mouse. Your friends have just allowed the Catman to enter your friend and hunt you down. Step 5. Survive without being caught. This is where the game begins. You must now run around outside or inside your house. Your goal is to avoid the Catman at all costs until 5 a.m. Should you feel like you are being watched, that means the Catman is near you. You must hide till he is gone. If you are not successful in doing this, you must immediately run back in the circle. If you are unsuccessful, the Catman will catch you, rip you apart, and eat your flesh and organs one by one. You will feel it, but you will be unable to react. If you are successful in running back in the circle of your closest friends, you must remain there until 5 a.m. If you are successful in hiding, you may proceed with the game. You must continue the game till 5 a.m. without being attacked by the Catman or being trapped inside the circle to win the cat and mouse game. The cat will leave your friend's body at 5 a.m. and you will be safe to proceed with your morning. Addition. Indications that you are near the Catman will include hearing very soft whispering coming from an indiscernible source and seeing your partner through the darkness. If you experience any of these, it is advised that you leave the area to avoid the Catman. Do not turn on any of the lights during the cat and mouse game. Do not use a flashlight during the cat and mouse game. Do not go to sleep during the cat and mouse game. Do not attempt to use another person's blood on you and your partner's name. And definitely do not attempt to provoke the Catman in any way. Good luck. You're gonna need it. Over the generations, humanity has lost its connection to the supernatural, to the point where modern humanity uses ancient rituals used to communicate with the divine or the damned for their own amusement. Most of these rituals are conducted improperly and simply used as a cheap thrill, with the clueless invoker having no idea that he is putting his soul on the line for no other gain. It is this that has led me to share a ritual that could actually be beneficial to its invoker. The Liar's Game is a lesser known ritual. If done correctly and with a little luck, it could grant its invoker near godlike power. But be warned, this ritual isn't for the faint of heart, and failure could have dire consequences. Please do not start the ritual before you have read everything written here. Failure to do so may cost you dearly. With that out of the way, here is what you will need. 8 large red candles, 4 small white candles, 2 small wooden boards, 2 soft pillows, a large bag of salt, white chalk, 2 identical glasses, preferably shot glasses, 2 identical bottles of hard liquor, props if you choose gin or whiskey, red twine, and a solid wooden door with a lock. Before you start the ritual, you will need to find a room with a sturdy, solid wooden door with a sturdy lock on it. It would be preferable if the door is pulled when open. It is recommended that you prepare the room during the day. Take the bag of salt and pour some in each corner of the room. If the room has windows, make sure to cover it up. Pour some salt in a straight line across any windowsill in the room. Now take the red twine and wrap it around the inside door handle. After the handle is fully covered with the twine, use the same strand to cover the opposite handle. Do not cut the twine. Now take the salt and pour a square box on the floor from the door frame. Place one of the pillows at the end of the box. Place a bottle of liquor, a glass, and a small wooden board in front of the pillow. Place 4 red candles in the corner of the salt box. Place the 4 white candles in the form of a box right in front of the door inside the room. Draw a pentagram inside the circle. You can write a summoning spell inside the circle to improve the odds of success, but I doubt the majority of people desperate or stupid enough to try this ritual will be able to correctly write a Latin summoning spell on the door. Besides, not doing it adds to the rush factor. Now, you can close and make sure the door can lock. It is extremely important that you can lock the door. But for now, keep the door open. Turn on the lights in the room and keep the key of the door with you. Now, the majority of your preparation is completed. You can go to sleep now. Remember to set an alarm for 2:30 a.m. This will give you 30 minutes to do the final preparations before you start the ritual. After you wake up, proceed to the room. Make sure none of the preparations have been disturbed. If everything is still in place, it is safe to proceed. Light all the red and white candles inside the room, then close and lock the door. I cannot stress how important it is to lock the door. Now place the other pillow in front of the door of the liquor, glass, and small board in front of the pillow. Take the last of the salt and pour it in front of the door. Take the 4 remaining red candles and place them in a box shape in front of the door and behind the pillow, then light them. Take the chalk and draw the same symbols as you did on the inside of the door. You should be finished before 3 a.m. At 3 a.m., place your hand inside the center of the pentagram and repeat the following line. O sons of darkness, O daughters of malice, I beseech thee, lend me thy time for a game of chance. Repeat this slowly and clearly 3 times, then sit on your pillow. If you did it correctly, you will hear 3 loud knocks the moment you sit down. If you heard it, congratulations. You have correctly performed the ritual, and now have a demonic entity sitting on the pillow on the other side of the door. If you haven't figured it out yet, you just summoned a random demon for a very high-stakes game. As the host, you get to go first. Here are the rules and objective of the game. The aim of the game is to catch the demon lying 3 times before it catches you. You start off by asking the demon a question. It will have 3 options: tell the truth, lie, or pass. You then have to decide if what it just told you was the truth or a lie. If it chose to pass, it has to pour a glass full of liquor and drink it all. Upon finishing the glass, it will tap the bottom of the glass 3 times on the wooden board. All questions have to be personal in nature. If you catch it in a lie, you get a point. But if you call the truth as a lie, you will be penalized and you will have to drink 2 glasses of liquor. If you miss the lie, it gets a point. After this, it gets a turn to ask you a question. The same rules will apply to it. The game finishes in a draw. If the booze runs out, or if day breaks, the first one to successfully catch 3 lies, or tell 3 lies, is the winner. If you win, the demon will congratulate you and leave you a boon. This item will normally be a necklace or ring. Wearing it will have several effects. Anything from extreme luck to massive levels of charisma. If you lose, you will have to pay the demon a tribute. And trust me, these things can be very demanding. It might just claim your soul, or it could lay claim to the souls of your future offspring. Or if you are very unlucky, it may claim your anguish and drag you back to hell with it to suffer for all eternity. After the game is finished, don't open the door till morning. Lastly, here are the important things you should look out for before you start. It is important to choose the right room for the summoning. It would be preferable if the room was empty. Objects in the room might get damaged. Don't use a hallway as a summoning room. This will only end badly for you, as you have no exit route and most likely give a demon full reign over your house. This might be obvious, but don't sleep in the room you use as the summoning room. It is important for the door to be able to lock. It might not seem like much, but the lock combined with the red twine will keep the demon from opening the door. If it does manage to open the door, you are completely screwed. If the light is off or the door is closed, lock the door and leave the house, and don't come back till morning. If any of the salt lines have been removed or disturbed, you may reinforce them with more salt, but it would be wiser to simply close and lock the door and leave the house, because you most likely drew the attention of something powerful enough to remove your protection wards. It is important not to cheat. If you have a smaller glass or substituting your liquor with something less potent, it will be seen as cheating, and you will automatically forfeit the game. If after all of this, you should still wish to continue, all I can say is this: may fortune favor the foolish. Everyone is always complaining about how every ritual entails a sacrifice upon success and a consequence upon failure. Well, hold up bitching a minute. I mean, come on. It's universal. First law of alchemy. Nothing can be gained without an equal or greater sacrifice. Threefold law in Wiccanism. Do evil, it'll come back threefold. Do good, and it will come back threefold, etc., etc. So now that we have a genuine understanding, assuming whoever is reading this isn't a total dumbass and is capable of reading and comprehending the text written in English language, let us discuss the ritual at hand. A lot of people know of rituals involving a chat or a game with Satan, but most of these involve the loss of your soul, with no chance of redemption regardless of how your meeting with the Prince of Darkness goes. These are the sort of rituals we hear throughout our childhood, from friends and reading novellas and internet stories that are simply known to be part of life. Everyone knows them, and many have tried them, much to their disappointment. There is a way around the inevitable desecration of your soul involving these type of rituals. However, there is not a way to avoid the potential for this sort of outcome. Just don't be a dumbass. This isn't the sort of thing you do when you're drunk to impress your friends. No need endangering multiple, infinitely lasting souls. It probably wouldn't work anyways. Satan doesn't often show up in the company of more than one person, unless he's feeling particularly rambunctious. He prefers to have private conversations. Better chance to fuck with your perception of reality that way. So with all this being said, and I'm assuming you're going to go through this regardless of the chances of death, losing your soul, and God only knows what else. I mean, it's the devil for God's sakes, and there's billions of horrid things that could happen. Let's get down to brass tacks. There isn't any long, lengthy list of things you need to perform this. Just a room with a wooden door as the main entrance and a bed, a cross or crucifix, made of silver or wood preferably. Silver was what Judas betrayed Jesus for, and wood was what Christ was crucified on. Definitely not made of gold or any other precious metal, save silver as previously mentioned. Salt, a pin or knife, 5 taper candles, and matches, not a lighter. Those are the only required items. Optional items include offerings such as cigarettes or booze, a deck of cards if you fancy a game with Satan, and or a chair in the room for Satan to take a seat. Satan never turns down a smoke or a drink. If you don't wish to have any of those items, that's fine. Satan will probably have his own anyways. And if it's a game you're looking to play, he'll have the provisions for anything you wish to play, within reason anyways, and offer to share if you do not have your own. As for the chair, it is courteous to offer your guest a comfortable seat, and he may choose to keep better company if you're not a total dick to him. At night, optionally around midnight on a cloudy night, make a small pentacle of the 5 candles in front of the wooden door, whilst it is open in the room of your choosing containing a bed. The light should be on in the room for the moment. This pentacle needs to be just big enough to contain the cross or crucifix, and the point of it should be toward the doorway. Be sure that it is far enough back so that when you close the door, you won't knock a candle over. It never ceases to amaze me how this has been explicitly explained. If you knock a burning candle over and burn your house down, Satan will most likely refuse to show up and would rather be sitting comfortably on his throne, laughing his ass off at your stupidity. If you decide to provide Satan a chair, set it behind the pentacle facing away from the door. After setting this little display up, circle the pentacle with salt and keep the rest of your salt on your person. Satan isn't a big fan of salt, and if things go down shit creek, it might be good to have some. Invite Satan in. There isn't a specific phrase to be said or anything of that sort. You could say anything from, "Satan, my good fellow, come on in," to, "Yo, Satan, my man, come chill with me." It is best to be hospitable with it. So if I were you, I'd say, "Satan, you are welcome into this room for a chat," or something to that effect. After this is said, wait a moment and place the cross or crucifix in an inverted position relative to you. Long end facing the door, short end facing you. And light the candles from the point to left to right to bottom left to bottom right. It is important not to move the candles at all from this point or disturb the ring of salt. And it is important that if at all possible, to light them all up using one match. Once all the candles are lit, lick your fingers and press the match out with them. Turn the lights off. Place the spent match within the pentacle of candles. After this, take the pin or knife and prick the middle finger of your left hand. Put a drop of blood in the center of your inverted cross/crucifix. Note that by doing this, you are offering yourself to Satan for the remainder of the night. He can do whatever the hell he wishes to do with you while both of you reside in the room. He cannot have your soul without your say though, and chances are he will not try to harm you unless provoked. He'd rather make friends of you. Anyways, back to the ritual. Be sure to face the door and close your eyes and focus your mind on your desire to speak with the devil. For the ritual to be successful, you have to have a true will, a very strong resolve to speak with El Diablo. After a few moments, open your eyes and blow the candles out. Stand and close the door and turn the lights on. If all has gone well thus far, Satan's in the room with you. He accepted your invitation and entered. As long as the door is closed, he cannot leave without you opening the door for him. That is, as long as you're still alive to do so. Thus, if he states that he wishes to leave, it'd be best to oblige. As for where in the room, he'll be seated in a chair, if you choose to provide one, or reclining on your bed. Turn slowly around after closing the door, and as soon as you see him, do not, under any circumstances, take your eyes off of him. As soon as he sees you, he'll be privy to any info about your personal life. He'll pretty much know every damn thing about you, and then some stuff you probably didn't even know about yourself. He generally appears different to everyone, seeing as how he can look however he wishes. Most likely he'll choose something appealing to you, an attractive member of the opposite sex perhaps, or the same sex if you're into that. Or if you aren't particularly inclined to indulge in the lust of the flesh, he'll appear as a clean-cut young man. You'll probably notice that regardless of his appearance, his eyes will be always nothing but burning embers in otherwise empty sockets. If not, he will probably offer you a drink or smoke, and he'll have one himself. Once he lights up or swallows a drink, he'll ask why you called him. You will want to give him a straight answer. Don't stutter and don't hesitate. Don't worry though, after this the formalities will be over and you can relax a bit. Satan has a sense of humor and will likely be cracking jokes and doing various parlor tricks. Fire at the tip of his fingers, turning electrical appliances on/off from a distance, shape-shifting, imitations, etc. Before you know it. Just keep him in your sight at all times and chat him up. Offering more smokes or drinks may make him stay longer if you have these at your disposal, but he will leave before daybreak regardless. The stakes for any game you play, or the answers to any burning questions that you may have, will most definitely be sinister. He might cut your thumbs off in return for telling you what really killed the dinosaurs, for instance, or maybe kill a family member for a losing hand at poker. P.S. Playing poker with Satan? Bad idea. He doesn't lose. Ever. And you will pay the price for a game. If you ask for the answer to a question such as this, he'll state a price, and you're welcome to turn it down, no strings attached. During the conversation between games or questions, he will tell you horrific things in a joking manner. Enter the "your dead aunt sucks cocks in hell" remarks. Don't mind, most of it will be lies. If you don't pay for it, he's free to tell you whatever he likes, be it fact or fiction. He will never mention your soul. Bring it up, and he won't turn it down though. Despite this, there is a price for everything. It won't be your soul so long as he doesn't offer, but there will be a price, rest assured. Don't piss him off, and you'll be fine. Aside from that, he generally doesn't like being disturbed for no reason though. So if you bring him out, don't just say you wanted some company or some stupid shit. If you ever become uncomfortable, tell him it is time to leave. He must leave if you do so. Eventually, at some time before daylight, he'll say he has business to attend to elsewhere regardless. Open the door for him and close it behind him. Don't exit your room until you've disassembled your pentacle, however. Enjoy! Hope it was worth losing your thumbs to find out how exactly the dinosaurs really died. Number four. Have you ever wanted to know a particular person better? To be able to predict his or her every move and reaction? Be familiar with all of his or her tastes and see right through his or her personality so you can be the wiser? If so, then you may embark on a journey. There you will find your answers, or so the forgotten ruins of the Aztecs dictate. Needless to say, it'll be dangerous, and the burden of risk very heavy. Your intentions may be as innocent as trying to comprehend the person you love, or give a heartwarming surprise to a friend or family member. Or it may be sinister, as to use the information you are given to manipulate and thwart someone you loathe. It may even be wanting to know a very influential person, so you may cajole and appease that person with ease. Regardless, I will not judge your intentions, but beware, because you will be evaluated, and the basis of that analysis is not only obscure, but seemingly random. So don't think you are sure to get out of this unscathed, just because you want to know your lover's dream honeymoon getaway to impress him or her. This is the price of knowledge that will be bestowed upon you. You will need some hair from the head of that person of interest. Even a single strand will do, and you're good to go. Tucked away in the dense foliage, there is a sacred yet forbidden retreat somewhere along the banks of the Amazon. It lurks in one of the nooks and crannies of the marshy vegetation, its whereabouts ever-changing. Mortals are only tolerated on a full moon night. The place can never be located otherwise. Start looking, riding a boat, preferably one that makes minimal noise. as the moon makes its first appearance. Reaching the entrance before midnight is a prerequisite. You are listening for a distant hiss, one not so dissimilar from a snake's, or one audible when you twist open the stopper of a carbonated beverage. It is said to be a calling to you, more like a challenge, in their indecipherable tongue, as if they are saying, "So, do you think you are worthy?" If you are able to hear a hiss, stop the boat. Try to locate it. Once you have a rough geographical estimate, anchor your boat along the bank and start foraging. You must leave anyone you brought with you on the boat, otherwise the place will not show up. Look for a cave. It should be just enough specifically for someone of your height to enter. You may use a light source to illuminate your path as you search, but the eerie yet glaring moonlight should suffice. As soon as you spot the cave, extinguish your light source. Leave all technology behind, otherwise they will be incapacitated. Bear nothing with you other than your clothing and the hair. Bare your feet. The moonlight should generate a lighting synonymous to the rustic images of early television, devoid of color, ominously monochromatic. Muster up your courage, you'll need every ounce of it, and walk inside. It will be pitch black at first, so walk cautiously to make sure you don't get lost. Use the walls to navigate. Feel for a pattern of carved series of circles at the height of your hands. There will be diverted paths and forks. Feel for the pattern. I must stress that you do not follow any walls that do not have this pattern. Around 5 minutes in, you will hear footsteps behind and ahead of you. Don't panic. The noise from footsteps will vary. Some light, others heavy. Some will correspond to strolling, others pacing, and even running. Things will brush past you occasionally and even bump into you, only to immediately dart away. Do not heed them. Move forward. After a while, you will see a light, as if one at the end of a tunnel. The walls bearing the circles should lead you right there. Shafts of moonlight will riddle the pathway, illuminating the circle pattern so you no longer have to feel. Proceed with a steady pace. No need to run, nor lag. The footsteps will cease. You might curse your peripheral vision, for shadows will linger at the corners of your eyes, only to fall back as you turn around. But you need not worry. Keep walking. Occasionally you will come across diverted pathways, and something will be standing there. A gray, indiscernible figure, mottled with inky stains of black. Unlike the others, it will not retreat from your plane of sight. On the contrary, it will gesture you to it. Run. You must run past all of these pathways. Otherwise, I'll get to that. That thing will scream and chase after you, but you must not stop, and you must not look back. You may stop when the footsteps die away. After what might seem like an hour or so, you will have reached your destination, an enormously spacious room. Enter the room, and you will see a stone altar illuminated by a single moonbeam descending from the ceiling. Patterns similar to the circles on the walls will have embellished its every surface. Everything else will be hiding under the cover of darkness. As you make your way up to the altar, you will be greeted with whispers and hisses from the darkness that surrounds you. There will be occasional shrieks and undulating moans. Something might screech as if right beside you or right behind you. Jump scares are always on the table. Anything to draw your attention. Whatever you do, do not look. Keep your eyes on the altar at all times. When you have reached the center, sit down with your legs crossed. The full moon will be visible through a slit on the roof as it pools the altar with its ghastly yet mysterious light. Place the hairs at the center and take a deep breath. Close your eyes and pronounce in a low voice, as humbly as you can.
Facekeeper, bestow upon me your knowledge.
The noises in the darkness will halt. Open your eyes and look at the hair. The hair will be set ablaze, but not by conventional fire. The tiny flames will emanate a soft, white, opalescent glow. Your body will know a steep temperature drop. There will be a presence around you, which you will find to be oddly reminiscent.
Whose face do you desire to know by heart?
The question will come from a random direction. Keep staring at the fire. The voice will be none other than your own, grim and solemn, and it will speak to you in the same language you used to summon it. Say the person's name. There will be a period of silence. Don't look up or make any kind of noise. Remain seated as you are.
Why do you want to know that face by heart?
Again, from a random location, in the same voice and language. State your intention as honestly as you can. It should be obvious that you mustn't lie. In the case that you do, remember that it will not only know of it, but also take into account of that lie when judging you. There will be a period of silence. I urge that you remain as you are.
Are you worthy?
The voice will suddenly reveal itself right behind you. Do not take your eyes off the flames. As adamantly as you can, say,
Yes.
As soon as you do, the flames will flare for a split second and extinguish themselves. You will hear a multitude of malevolent hisses all around you. A grim, spiteful aura will burden the air. You will be kept under the impression that an otherworldly presence is approaching you from far ahead. Stay as you are and keep staring at the ashes. At one point, all noise will reach an abrupt halt. A violent surge of wind will blow the ashes onto you, and you will black out. You will open your eyes to the cacophony of birds rising at dawn. You will be lying at the place where you spotted the cave, only that the cave will be no more. Rise, gather up your things, and go back to the boat. Now, you can naturally think exactly like your desired person, as if you can dress yourself in that person's very mental makeup. Of course, you can take it off just as easily. In the case that you were not worthy, be prepared to face nothing but sheer confusion and frustration for the rest of your life. The Facekeeper will have robbed you of who you are. You will know nothing. No memories, no language, nothing. Your mentality will be likened unto a newborn baby, awed at the world around you, as if seeing it for the first time. Now, as for my warnings, what if you looked up during talking to the Facekeeper, or didn't follow the wall, or responded to the modeled figure's beckons? The outcome is the same. Immortality. Sounds great, doesn't it? Yep, just like those shadowy figures or the modeled summoner, trapped in that lair for all of eternity, rejected by death itself. They just want more friends, that's all. Now, if you make it out successful, there are no catches, no restrictions. You have been deemed worthy. You are free to proceed using your newfound prowess in any way you see fit. Feeling powerful? Want more? You can if you want to. Just take some hair off another person and return it to the Amazon. Go through it again. You've done it once, right? No problem. But be warned, the Facekeeper doesn't take ambition too kindly. I suggest you stop to listen that your chances of being deemed worthy twice in a row is much slimmer. And what if you aren't? Will the face keeper snatch away your ability? Oh no, you can keep that. It'll take away you and only you. But hey, you've got someone else's personality, right? Sure you do. Good luck being that person when he or she legitimately exists. You know that you're you, so why is that person claiming to be you? Why is your mother calling him or her her child? Why is your lover sleeping with that person? He or she is the real deal. You are just a clone personality stuffed into a now unknown body. Identity theft with an unexpected twist. Don't you think? Makes you wonder whether losing the first time around was better, huh? If this doesn't bother you though, go on. Sail along the Amazon in the moonlight, seeking that hiss. I wish you good luck, but don't forget to ask yourself,
Are you worthy?
if you want to lose your grasp on reality and destroy your complete sanity, just listen to the clock. But this will not be easy, let me tell you right now. This is not something to mess around with. It's just an easy way to lose your mind within the confines of your own home. But there are a couple guidelines to follow. First, pick a room with no windows. It can be a room for anything, but it just can't have windows. Second, you can start at any time in the day, even if you wish to start at night, for the process will take exactly 24 hours to complete. Third, cancel all appointments you have for that day. Turn off your phone if you have to, for there can't be any distractions for you to focus on. Fourth, make sure it is a calm and quiet day outside and not windy or stormy. Lastly, to start the process, you must go into the room you've picked. Put a clock inside. The clock must make a distinct tick-tock sound when every second passes. Turn off the lights and light a candle. That candle will be your only source of light. Once you have done all of that, I honestly want you to ask yourself one question.
Do I really want to do this?
If your answer is yes, then may God have mercy on you. I'm here to merely prepare you on what to expect. Alright, let me tell you a little bit of information about the procedure. Back in the mid-1800s, radical members of the Christian and Islamic faith used it as a way to connect with God. It was kept under wraps due to its extreme nature, an unusual method to connect with the supernatural. During the procedure, they would have been in constant prayer and worship, but would eventually stop due to the events that would happen afterwards. The clock represented life on earth and how short it can be, and the candle represented God as the only way of guidance through life. More often than not, each person would go through the procedure, lose their minds, and within a day would kill themselves from what they have claimed to see. But if you are one of the lucky ones, you can keep your sanity, like me. Okay, now here's what to expect. The first 3 hours are the least eventful, mainly because nothing really happens. But prepare yourself in these hours. These are the only hours in which you may choose to leave the procedure. In the 4th hour, you will not be able to escape by any means. The lock on your door will lock by itself and you will have no methods to move it. In the 5th hour, you will start to sweat profusely and will start to have feelings of anxiety. You will start to look behind you many times, and every time there will be nothing there. In the 6th hour, you will hear noises. Not noises from the house or from outside, but thuds and thumps throughout the hour in 10-minute intervals, with each noise getting louder. In the 7th hour, you will pass out and dream. This will be the only pleasant hour throughout the process. You will dream about the best moments in your life. Every great accomplishment, wonderful memory, and friends you have made will appear before you. It will have been the best dream you have ever had in your life. Even events from the future can appear. At the beginning of the 8th hour, you shall wake up. When you do, you will feel an extreme sense of elation and comfort, similar to the effects of smoking marijuana. Now, for some this can be considered another pleasant hour due to the feeling of the drug, but what comes after will be the start of your suffering. In the 9th hour, you will, in a sense, go from one drug to another. Your feelings of happiness will change to that of extreme adrenaline and energy, similar to the effects of any stimulant. But a warning, you must try your hardest to keep yourself under control. You're unpredictable. There is no telling what you will do in this state. On the 10th hour, you've hopefully had minimal injuries from the last hour, but you will start to feel normal, and your feelings you've previously felt will subside. Now you will hear screaming, but the screaming can vary from what it sounds like, from a little girl to a full-grown man. You will hear screaming at 6-minute intervals throughout the hour. This hour is going to feel like an eternity to pass. At the 11th hour, the light from the candle will go out. That's it. You're left alone in the darkness. You are free to think to yourself, most likely regretting the decision you have made. At the 12th hour, the light from the candle will reappear. But do not worry, this is another hour of silence. But mentally prepare yourself for what is about to happen next. On the 13th hour, you shall pass out much like you did during the 7th hour, but don't expect happy memories. In this dream, you shall experience every painful, heart-wrenching moment, suffering, and unpleasant things in your life, even suffering in your future, including your own death. This will be the worst dream you have ever had in your life. At the 14th hour, you will wake up. This is another hour of silence, but the silence will be broken by your own sobbing. Your tears shall continue until the hour is over. On the 15th hour, putting it very bluntly, is when things start to get weird. You will talk to someone. He's not visible, but he's there. He doesn't have a name, but I'm giving him one. He is your guardian angel, but you can call him Watcher or Protector. But for me, I call him Asshole. This may seem funny, but trust me, it suits him. The first thing he will say to you is,
"Ask me anything, and I shall give you an answer."
You can ask him anything about your life, what will happen in the future, and why events occurred the way they did. He will give you an answer, but in extreme and graphic details, and give reasons for things you will not understand, whether it be a tragedy or a death. By the end of the hour, he will say farewell and leave. On the 16th hour, you will talk to your parents, but they do not make a physical appearance, mind you. Now it's your turn to answer questions. They will ask you questions about what you have done with your life, and if you do not answer one of their questions, They will press on for an answer until you can't take it anymore. At the end of the hour, they will go away. On the 17th hour, you will talk to the most important person in your life. He will ask you why and how you became friends. But keep in mind, he is not looking for friendly conversation. He is questioning your friendship with him, finding every mistake you have done to cripple your friendship. Reasoning with him will not work, and he will act like your parents did during the previous hour. On the 18th hour, you will speak to the most important girl in your life. She will do the same as the person in the 17th hour and ask the same questions. On the 19th hour, you will talk of yourself, meaning you will talk of your future self. And trust me, this is the least pleasant conversation. He will tell you things you will not want to hear about yourself, and will ask you questions you can and cannot answer. Soon it'll be too much, and you will find yourself screaming at yourself. Anger and self-loathing will be the only emotion you have. On the 20th hour, following the events of the 19th hour, you will find any possibility to hurt yourself. Self-inflicting pain will be constant in this hour. Some have even committed suicide. On the 21st hour, if you manage to survive the previous hour, here is what will await you. Music? Yes, music. It will be soft orchestral music, with a choir singing Gregorian chant, similar to church music, but more beautiful. By the end of this hour, your wounds will heal. Don't ask me why, even I don't know. On the 22nd hour, the music will stop. This is another hour of silence, but you will have time to think to yourself. The light on the candle will change colors, all colors of the spectrum. This is quite a sight to behold. It's almost soothing. On the 23rd hour, you will sing Gregorian chant, but your singing will be the only sound in the room. You honestly don't know what you're singing, but it sounds beautiful, and you will actually want to sing more. Finally, the 24th hour. This is the most interesting hour. Rumor says you talk to God himself, but here's how it goes. You are pinned to the floor by some unknown force, and someone or something asks you a question at 10-minute intervals. Questions like,
Are you happy?
or
Would you like to change?
you must answer. You will feel the need to. The questioner sounds like a man, but at the same time, an animal. Almost like the roar of a lion. His voice is terrifying, but yet comforting at the same time. After the hour is up, you will be able to get up from the floor, and the door will unlock. If you're lucky, you still will have your sanity. Now, it is up to you what you shall do with this information. If you want to do this, I'm not stopping you, but I'm giving you fair warning. Some things are beyond the realms of human comprehension, and some things we just have nothing to explain the unnatural. But whatever it is, at least we know we are not alone. Now remember what I have told you. If you want to lose your grip on reality and destroy your complete sanity, just listen to the clock. Having difficulty staying awake there? Trying to study for some big exam, finish some last-minute assignment that you put off all weekend, and it's now 3 in the morning and you're absolutely exhausted? Or perhaps you were in a similar state recently and are looking for help on what to do. Well, friend, I have just a prescription to ease your weary mind. All you have to do is win a game. Setting up the game is relatively simple. All you need is an hourglass, a candle, and a marker. Let me make one thing specifically clear. You need an hourglass, not one of those rinky-dinky 30-second pieces of shit you get out of a cereal box or board game. Before playing the game, test your hourglass to make sure that it takes an hour or slightly longer to drain out all of the sand from one section to the other. Having it take slightly longer will help, but too long or too short and you'll run into complications during the game. You must also be completely alone in the room while playing. When you are ready to play, choose any room that can be sealed, simply meaning that all doorways and windows can be closed. Any other form of timekeeping device or alarm must be taken out of the room prior, or the game will not begin. The hourglass will be your only time tracking tool, hence why having an accurate hourglass is crucial. Anything with an electronic display should also be removed. This includes TVs, cell phones, computer monitors, anything. Leaving them in the room during the game will put you at a massive disadvantage. You may begin the game at 8 p.m. Make sure the room is sealed, drawing the curtains to block any outside light. Then draw a simplistic hourglass shape on the back of one of your hands. Make sure to remember well which hand it was, since you'll mostly be in the dark for this game. Take the candle and light it, then turn off the lights, and sit down on the floor with the three previously mentioned objects close together, and flip the hourglass so the sand begins to fall into an empty half. The only source of light should be your candle. Now, yell something along the lines of, "I'm not tired, and I refuse to go to sleep." Close your eyes to the count of 10, and open them again. You won't be entirely sure, but somewhere in the room you'll think you can see the shadowy outline of a man. You have now begun the game, and your opponent is none other than the Master of Sleep himself, the Sandman. Do not provoke him, and do not speak to him either. You've challenged him, and in a way, insulted him about his profession, so he's not in the best of moods, to say the least. Now comes the game. Your task is to stay awake for as long as possible, to a maximum of 8 hours, which will take you to 4 a.m. Every hour, you must flip the hourglass to reset it and keep the game going. Each time you flip the hourglass, you may take the marker and draw a tally mark on your arm. The specifics of which arm you mark will be explained later. And don't think you can just flip the hourglass 8 times really quickly or just draw 8 lines on your arm. The hour needs to pass in order for the magic to work. If you fail to flip the hourglass before the very last grain of sand falls, or should you succumb to sleep, you'll lose. During this time, the Sandman will be deploying as many tricks as possible to get you to fall asleep or give in. See, the bottom half of your hourglass, at any time, represents his power. The more sand, the stronger his influence will be. Almost immediately upon starting, you'll begin to feel drowsy. This is merely his presence. If you cannot last against this, stop playing immediately. During the first hour, he won't do a lot. He may walk around the room, but he won't touch you or speak to you. Even if you try to talk to the being, which is something you should really avoid doing, there will be no response. Also, don't move from your spot to approach him. The closer you get, the more drowsy you will become. And if you're not near your candle, he may put it out so you can go to sleep. Do not distract yourself during this time. You may easily lose track of time and forget to flip the hourglass on time. The Sandman can also skew your perception of how much time has passed, but he cannot affect the hourglass. So keeping your focus on that is your best chance of winning. Side note, if you try to leave the room, you will find that the doors are all locked and the windows reveal nothing but an unyielding darkness as far as you can see. After you pass the first hour, the Sandman may scoff, but will continue to stay in the room. Now, he will begin to pull more from his bag of tricks. He's seen that you're going to be a hard one to put down. The sounds of music boxes and harps may be heard, at first from a distance, but will slowly grow to a level that would be audible and comforting. Resist the urge to close your eyes and listen. Your body will grow weary as you approach hour 2 or 3, depending on how the Sandman is feeling that night. Around this point, he will begin speaking to you in many voices. The soft voice of a young girl, the wise, cackling laugh of a grandparent, or perhaps even in the ever-loving, recognizable words of your own mother. They will try to congratulate you on surviving for so long with the Sandman, for braving sleepless days and nights to win this game. Whispers of lullabies and nursery rhymes will fill your head, but you know better. Say nothing and ignore the voices. No matter how real they may seem, don't listen to them. Do not go to sleep. If you manage to make it to the halfway point and now have 4 marks on your arm, you'll be nothing less than exhausted, and the Sandman will be nothing less than enraged. He will begin to manipulate your environment even more and start using new tactics to get you to sleep. Instead of trying to lull you to sleep, he will attack you. Hallucinations will occur. You'll see horrifying images of the dead hanging from the ceiling, flashed by a spotlight of unknown origin. The room may start to close in, and then stretch out, and close in again, and stretch back out. A whisper in your ear will turn into shouting in your face from an invisible source. Already weakened and sleep deprived, your remaining energy will be drained in bursts from his terrors. You may have sudden adrenaline rushes, sure, but the Sandman is clever. He'll time them so that you can't just survive to the next hour by simply being anxious. He'll wait until your emotional state has fallen just another level lower, and then 2 rotted feet dangling in front of your face. You can scream all you want. You can beg for him to stop, but this will only use up more of your ability to function. At the 6-hour mark, the hallucinations will shift between horror and comfort, while the Sandman will begin to pick your brain and find what nightmares cause you to come to a cold sweat many a night. Others will coax you towards slumber, claiming that you've put up with enough and that you deserve your rest. A warm bed to tuck yourself into, a pillow made from the softest of furs and feathers. The harps and music boxes will start to overload your sense of hearing. In your state, you may welcome the chance to sleep, but snap out of it. Have you been watching the hourglass, making sure his terrors aren't distracting you? This is why you don't talk to the Sandman, for every tiny detail about yourself you give him, he will use against you. This is also the part where electronic displays can become a massive problem. They will turn on regardless of whether they are powered or not, and should you gaze upon their mystifying image for too long, your eyelids will droop and your body will collapse onto the floor. If you had just turned screens away, the Sandman might use some muscle and turn it back towards you so you can get a better view. The curtains may open to a brilliant dawn or a clear blue sky, but the only truths in this room are your arm and the hourglass. Unless you have 8 marks, the game is not over. Use any ounce of strength you have to flip that hourglass. Now an immense chore from the Sandman's influence. Scrawl a line down with your arm on the marker, even if it looks like you are taking a knife and slashing your own arm open. During the final hour, the Sandman will begin to address you directly, asking you questions that appear to be simple, but as you are, you can't even remember what 2 + 2 equals. A question is the hardest thing to get out of your head, so don't let it get in. Cover your ears and just watch the hourglass. Keep those eyes open. Don't fall asleep. If the question gets in your head, you'll start to think about it, adding more stress and draining you of what little mental will you have left. It might become hard to breathe, as if something is squeezing your lungs, or the air is dense and hard to take. The Sandman will also get physical, grabbing you and throwing you across the room, leaving you to crawl back to the hourglass before time is up. If you catch a glimpse of his face, it may be enough of a nightmare to haunt you and keep your eyes from shutting. There will be no distinguishable facial features, save 2 bloody eyes, the lids torn from the sockets, endlessly staring. Anyone who has made it to the 7th hour mark has never had the strength to successfully break it, and either carried on or surrendered to their dreams. You will not receive a reward for ending the game this way, save the mercy of avoiding the Sandman's wrath. If you do make it to the end of the 8th hour without falling asleep, you will not need to flip the hourglass again. Simply make the 8th mark on your arm and close your eyes. However you ended the game, you cannot sleep just yet. There's one final task remaining. All you must do is wait for the Sandman to collect the hourglass and say, "You're all grown up now. Sleep when you wish." Open your eyes and find that the hourglass is gone and the candle put out. Now you may collapse in slumber, a 12-hour slumber to be precise. The game puts a heavy strain on your mind and body, so recovery is necessary. But it's the last sleep you'll ever need, or at least to that length, because once you've fully recovered, you will be able to stay awake for an extra hour for each tally on your marked arm. Depending on your normal sleep schedule, this may mean that you only need a small nap, maybe an hour or 2 at most, but for some, you'll never have to lie down again. Sure, you will have the ability to do so if you want to. You can still even dream, but there will never be any weariness following you. Just think of how productive you can be. But it's not all unicorns and rainbows. If you mark any tallies on your arm that were not marked by the hourglass, you will instead require more sleep, 1 hour for each tally on the blank arm to be precise. You will require more rest to be able to even function throughout your day. Now these marks can cancel with the ones on your marked arm, but if that's not the case, you may have just gone through all of that suffering, only to come out worse than before. And what with your delirious state throughout the game, it's unlikely for the average individual to come out with all the towies on the marked arm. There are also circumstances of losing. If you fail to flip the hourglass, then the Sandman will gain full power, and with a snap of his fingers, you will collapse to the ground. Regardless of how you fall asleep, be it by failure of the hourglass or succumbing to your own tiredness, you will also sleep for 12 hours to recover, but it will be the worst sleep you'll ever have, and the Sandman will make damn sure that's the case. The worst nightmares will flood your mind, leaving you unable to escape or wake up in a relief-filled cold sweat. All you can do is endure the torture of a dream that feels like years. And when you finally come to consciousness the next morning, there you will be, lying on the floor of the room, the mark still on your arm, and blood flowing from where your eyelids once rested. You said you refused to close your eyes and go to sleep. The Sandman has simply granted that wish.